She had nothing. No home, no phone. No one was noticing her. Maya was invisible to the world. It was how she survived. Every day, she wandered the cracked sidewalks of the city, her feet sore from walking endless streets that led to nowhere. She felt the cold wind cut through her thin jacket, but she didn't care. She had no other choice. The world had forgotten her. She had learned to ignore it, too. But today, something was different. In the distance, she heard a faint cry. It wasn't loud enough for anyone else to hear, but it reached her ears. A weak, desperate call for help. Without thinking, she moved toward it. Slowly, quietly. The alley ahead was dark and narrow. She had learned to trust her instincts, and right now, her gut told her to investigate. She wasn't sure what she would find, but she knew she couldn't turn back. Maya had never known a life without hardship. At just 14, she had learned how to survive on the streets. She didn't have a luxury of dreams or aspirations. She had learned early on that survival was the only thing that mattered. Every night was the same. She found an abandoned corner, a place where she could lie down without being noticed. She wrapped herself in scraps of old blankets she found in alleyways. Sometimes, the cold would seep into her bones, and she would shiver herself to sleep. In the morning, she would scavenge. Leftover food, empty bottles, anything that could be used. But it was never enough. The hunger gnawed at her constantly. Yet, there was something she held onto, a glimmer of hope, even if it was small. It was the belief that there had to be more to life than this. That afternoon, the sun barely peeked through the thick clouds. Maya walked with her head down, her shoes worn and dirty, through a path she knew well. It led to the back streets near the restaurants. Sometimes, the dumpsters there held food left behind. She didn't know why she still held on to the hope that she might find something good. Maybe it was just instinct, the need to keep moving forward no matter how small the reward. But today was different. Today, the alley was quieter than usual. The streetlights flickered, casting long shadows against the walls. Maya stopped. She listened. She could hear something faint, something out of place. A sound, a soft groan, a voice muffled, pleading. Her pulse quickened. Maya wasn't sure what to think. She had grown up in the streets, and the people here were not the kind to ask for help. They were often in trouble, and when they were, they didn't want anyone to get involved. But this was different. She edged closer to the source of the sound, careful with each step. Then she saw him. A man. His clothes were torn. His hands were bound behind his back. Blood stained his forehead. He was tied to a dumpster, his body slumped in exhaustion. His eyes met hers, wide with fear. "Please," he whispered, voice shaking, "help me." Maya froze. Her heart raced. Maya had seen a lot in her young life, but nothing like this. The man was clearly in distress. He was alone, tied up, and looked like he had been here for hours. His voice was weak, but desperate. "Please, they'll come back," he said, barely able to speak. Maya hesitated. Should she help? Was this a trap? Her instinct screamed at her to run, to stay hidden. After all, helping someone like him could bring trouble. But something stopped her. She didn't know why, but she knew she couldn't leave him there. Maya glanced around quickly, making sure no one was watching. She crouched down beside him, her hands trembling slightly. "Don't worry," she said softly. "I'll get you out of here." Maya glanced at the rope binding his hands. She had no tools, no way to cut the ropes. She searched the area, her eyes landing on a small metal pipe, discarded on the ground. She grabbed it, her fingers hurting as she gripped it tightly. Time was running out. She could hear footsteps in the distance. But she worked quickly, using the pipe to saw through the ropes. It wasn't easy. Her hands bled as she worked. The metal was sharp, and her grip was slipping. But she didn't stop. She couldn't. Finally, the rope snapped, and the man's hands were free. He slumped forward, gasping for breath. "You saved my life," he whispered, his voice hoarse. Maya didn't smile. She didn't need to. "Not yet," she said, her voice calm, though her heart was racing. Maya knew they had to leave quickly. The man's kidnappers could be close. She led him deeper into the alley, toward a network of hidden spaces. She had spent years learning how to disappear in places like this. They crouched behind an old dumpster, the rain beginning to fall. Maya listened, her heart pounding in her chest. "Thank you," the man said quietly. "I don't know how to repay you." Maya didn't respond. She didn't need to. She just looked at him silently. She had learned long ago that some people didn't need to repay kindness. They just needed to be saved. The rain fell harder, but the man was still shivering. "My name is Adrian Cole," he said, voice shaking. Maya nodded, though she didn't recognize the name. "I'm an actor," he added. Maya paused. "I was kidnapped. They were going to demand ransom," he continued. "But I've been tied up here for hours." The rain kept coming down, and the sirens grew louder. Maya knew they were close. If they stayed together, they'd be seen. "I can't risk it," she said, her voice firm. "You have to go alone." Adrian looked at her, confusion and fear in his eyes. "Don't worry," Maya said. "I'll lead them away." Before Adrian could protest, Maya ran. She crashed through the alley, kicking over trash cans and breaking branches, shouting, drawing attention. Maya could hear the kidnappers chasing her, their heavy footsteps growing closer. Her heart raced as she pushed herself harder, running through the rain-slicked streets, adrenaline fueling her every move. She could hear their shouts behind her, but she didn't stop. She couldn't. Her legs burned. Her lungs screamed for air. But she kept running, the sound of her pursuers growing louder and louder. Finally, just as the flashlight beam caught her, everything went black. Maya woke up in a sterile white room, the beeping of machines filling the silence. She blinked, disoriented. She was in a hospital. Beside her, Adrian sat in a chair, looking exhausted but relieved. "Are you all right?" he asked, his voice full of concern. Maya nodded slowly. She was alive, and so was he. Days later, Adrian came to her with news. The story had gone viral. A famous actor saved by a homeless girl. Adrian had used his connections to make sure that Maya's life would change forever. He had arranged for a home, for schooling, for everything she had ever dreamed of. And then he handed her the final surprise. A legal adoption request. The world had forgotten Maya for 14 years. But one act of courage changed everything. And from that moment on, she would never be